Hi everybody and welcome to week 10. Congratulations on making it past the home page. For this video, I'm going to talk briefly about the weekly objectives, the difference between online and face-to-face learning environments, and then focus the bulk of our video on talking about what is due Wednesday, January 10th by 11 p.m., your readings, the video, as well as your first discussion post. So before we get into that, let's talk about the objectives. As you might imagine, this is the first week, so it's not too tedious, not too intellectually strenuous. You're just going to learn how to navigate the course site and syllabus, recognize the generic conventions of a literacy narrative, and plan a literacy narrative. Now, we're not going to get to this until the next day or section, which is going to be Saturday, January 13th, so don't worry about this so much now. You're welcome to look ahead if you'd like, but for this video, I'm not going to be talking about that. All right. As for online versus face-to-face learning, so if you haven't figured out yet, this course is entirely online. We will not be meeting in person unless we're making appointments to meet with each other. And online versus face-to-face, there are different learning styles, personality temperaments, and things like that that I think are important to consider. So this is your first time taking an online course. I recommend you read this little blurb right here, as well as take the self-assessment questionnaire. This isn't to dissuade you from taking the course, but I do want to set everyone up for success. So if you're not sure whether an online environment is right for you, or if you've never taken an online course, I recommend checking this out to figure out whether or not you should stay in this course, which I hope you do, unless you don't feel like you should. All right, so for your Wednesday, January 10th section, let's look at that really quick. So I'm having you read the course syllabus, watch a video on how to submit assignments, and view my feedback, which, by the way, you're always going to want to upload papers as a Word document or a PDF, and then use the text entry for discussions. More on that in a second. And then also we'll talk briefly about your first discussion post, which is just you introducing yourself to your classmates and interacting with them a little bit to get a better feel for how discussion posts work. Cool. All right, so first, the course syllabus. Now you'll notice that it's hyperlinked, and as soon as I click on it, it's going to download the PDF. And I would like to, I'm not going to read the entire syllabus with you, but I'd like to cover some of the basics with you. So let's see here. I'm going to read directly from the course syllabus. Writing 1010 is to prepare students like you for the kinds of reading and writing that you will do as a member of an academic community. And what this means by academic community is to say, so some of you are going into medicine, some of you are going into business, going into tech, engineering. Each of these different disciplines constitute a kind of academic community. So we begin with the assumption that joining an academic community means learning and adopting new literacy practices. In other words, even though you have been reading and writing for most of your life, the kinds of reading and writing required in a university setting are much different. And this is what this class is going to help you out with. This course will provide you with a set of foundational practices that will allow you to join this new academic conversation. Practices that can be adjusted to suit the purposes of your field major as you continue your studies at the U. I want to pause here. This is important. So there is no such thing as like good reading and good writing. There's only different kinds of reading and writing for different kinds of situations. So the kinds of reading and writing you're going to be doing in, say, business is going to be very different from reading and writing in something like microbiology. So what my goal is to provide you with some concepts and some tools to help you navigate and succeed in these environments. All right, continuing on. When you write in a university setting, you are joining a research conversation. To put it another way, when academics write up their research or when they decide what to research, they are contributing to a body of arguments about the same topic. In order to do that, scholars do the following. They listen to the conversation that other people are already having. They identify the various perspectives and voices contributing to the conversation. They articulate that same conversation in their own words. They synthesize the various voices in the conversation. They identify the gap in the conversation, an argument that hasn't been made or is weak or an approach that's missing. Doing research that helps fill that gap, and then they contribute an argument of their own. Now, in Writing 1010, we're only going to be focusing on the first four. leaving 5, 6, and 7 for 2010. So we're going to be focusing on reading, summarizing, and synthesizing academic arguments, as well as a few other things. You will learn how to summarize the arguments already in circulation in a conversation and strong paraphrasing and quotation skills. That's going to be the bulk of the class. So let's talk about outcomes really quick. These assignments are structured to teach you to use key rhetorical concepts that will enable you to think and talk about writing in new ways, read and understand academic arguments, summarize academic arguments, synthesize or combine these ideas and arguments, understand academic argumentation in terms of complexity rather than opinion, use generic conventions that structure academic writing in appropriate ways and places, and also write an academic report. Along the way, we'll be doing these things as well. I'll let you read that, but to summarize, essentially we're going to be looking at other things that will improve your reading and writing skills more broadly. All right, texts. So there is one required text that you do have to pay for, I'm sad to say. That is the They Say, I Say, The Moves That Matter in Academic Writing. It says to get the second edition, and you can get it at the bookstore. I think it's only like 20 or 25 bucks. But if you want to get the first edition, that shouldn't be a problem. I don't imagine it would be. But if you do get the first edition, odds are it's going to be a lot cheaper. So go ahead and order that on Amazon or whatever preferred online shopping deal that you like to do. We won't be actually using this particular book for at least 3 weeks. So if you haven't done that yet, do it soon, but you do have some time. And then all the other readings we'll be doing will be available on Canvas. All right, and I've already talked a little bit about these assignments in the introductory video on the home page. So peer review, discussion posts, journals, literacy narrative, genre analysis. You can read all this at your leisure. Let's see, policies. Here's the grading scale. Some professors like to do 94% and up for an A. I like to give you guys a little bit of a leeway and do a 93% instead. Policies. Canvas, late work. Okay, let's talk about this. So late work. So turn in all assignments on time. If you have a compelling reason for turning in an assignment late, I will work with you, but you need to inform me ahead of time of that reason. For each day an assignment is late, including the weekends, I will deduct 5% from your score, not to exceed 50%. Late work will be accepted at any time during the semester for up to 50% credit. Say again, so if you decide you don't want to do the first writing assignment until the very end of the semester, you can do that, and you'll still get at least half credit. However, I would recommend you don't do that, and if you did that with all assignments, you would still fail the course. So do your assignments on time to get the full credit, but if you end up being late, don't just not do it. Get it in as soon as you can, and you'll to retain as many points as you possibly can do. Okay. Draft feedback. I am more than happy to give you feedback on your drafts. There are, however, a few requirements. First, you'll need a Google account if you don't have one already. To receive feedback, invite me to view your document through the share features on Google Docs. This will allow me to provide in-text comments in your document. The second requirement is that you ask me for specific feedback. For example, am I meeting the assignment requirements? Does the organization make sense? Does my summary on paragraph 3 look good? Etc. Respectful conduct. I could go over this a little bit more in depth with you, but students so far have appreciated my pithy response to this, and that is simply just don't be a dick, right? Like, we're all people, we're all humans. People make mistakes, and there may be some miscommunication or unintentional hurting of feelings, but I think as long as we all have this class integrity of just, doing good by each other, I think we should be able to get through this relatively unscathed. And for the most part, most of our conversations we'll be having online aren't really that, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not hot topic button issues. No one's going to get pissed off, I would assume, but we'll see how the semester goes. All right. All this other stuff, academic honesty, blah, 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 blah. You can read this again at your leisure. Where did the plagiarism go? As far as plagiarism goes, we're going to be talking about what constitutes plagiarism, but simply, and I've had this happen last semester, don't submit somebody else's assignment as your own. And if you're ever citing material, which again you will be, that's pretty much all we're going to be doing this semester, make sure that you cite it appropriately, and we'll be talking about that later on as to how to go about that. So Outside of that, we'll just navigate past. I'll let you read the rest of that syllabus at your discretion. When you get a second, after that, watch this video on how to submit assignments. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into very much detail here. Just do that when you can. If you're not sure how to submit Canvas assignments, it'll show you how to. As well as view feedback, which is something that is really important to me, and I'll be harping on this in the future a little bit more. But so make sure you know how to submit assignments, but also you know how to view my feedback. It's really important for this class. All right, finally, write discussion 1. Let's go ahead and click on that link. It's going to take us to our first assignment. All right, let's talk briefly about discussion posts. So let's see here. Read this little bit right here. Conversations that we have via this discussion board are an important part of the work in this course. In most cases, I will pose a question or issue to you, and then you will respond either directly to me or to something a classmate had said. The objective of this discussion is to have a useful conversation about issues we are tackling. Also, since we're not meeting in person, this is really one of the only spaces we're going to have to interact with each other, and so we'll be doing these quite a bit, 10 in total. All right. Grading. Each right post is worth 4.5 points and is graded as follows. So for your primary post, which is 3 points, 3 points is post is adequate in terms of length, engagement, and thought. 2 points, the post is too short, fails to respond to the prompt, has many mechanical errors, or shows little thought. And number 1, the post is late. Or just is so off base that it doesn't merit any more than 1 point. Note that posts may receive 0 credit if they are too late to contribute to class conversation, so make sure you're keeping up with these posts. And then the secondary post, same criteria. And let's talk about primary and secondary posts really quick. So for this assignment, discussion 1, your primary post, you are to write 150 to 200 words introducing yourself. It can be anything. What's your major, where you're from, something that's unique or peculiar about yourself. In the spirit of this assignment, I'll give you a little brief tidbit about me. So I'm a second-year graduate student. This is actually my last semester before I graduate, so yay. I'm from St. George. Some interesting tidbits about me. I opened and ran a all-ages music venue in St. George for a little bit. I also, summer before last, rode, or was it last summer? It was this last summer, I rode a whale shark. So that was pretty fun. I have a video for that if any of you would like to see what that looks like. It's not very exciting, but it's kind of cool. All right. So you're going to write, you're going to introduce yourself in the primary post, and then for your secondary post, have a conversation with your classmates by responding to at least 2 posts, ask a question, make a connection, or comment on their introduction. So let's see, I can't actually show you anything because we don't have any posts up yet, but what you'll do is you'll notice you'll scroll down here, you click, let's see here. You can either click reply to this, or there's another feature that I can't see right now, but you'll click reply to the post. It's just going to be a text entry. You'll write it out. And then note this, primary posts are due on the assigned date. However, the secondary posts are due 3 days after the primary post by 11 p.m. So this Wednesday by 11 p.m., your primary post is due. I recommend you just, if somebody has already made a post, just hurry and do that and not worry about it. But because some people may be very late submitting these posts, I'm going to give you 3 days to do the secondary post, which is to respond to somebody else's post. That was a lot of words, but hopefully you get my meaning. All right, cool. All right, well, that's it for this video. I will have another video posted for Saturday, covering the literacy narrative, which is your first major writing assignment, and then I'll also talk a bit about journals and some of the readings you'll be doing for that. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.